one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50
Parks Recreation meeting, July 21st. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you like to call roll call, please?
Member Rosenbaum?
Here.
Member Warshus?
Here.
Member Miletta? Member Lee? Member Ekdahl?
Here.
I take it you have read the minutes of the regular Park Board meeting on June 16th. Can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I second the motion to accept the minutes from June.
You take roll, please.
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Member Warshus?
Yes.
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Financial report. I would hope everybody looked at it. And we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the financial report.
Second?
Roll, please.
Member Warshus?
Yes.
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes. Vouchers.
I'll make a motion that we accept the vouchers as presented.
I second the motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
Carla, could you take roll, please?
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Member Warshus?
Yes.
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Vouchers for the marina facility. If you read it.
I'll make the motion that we accept the vouchers from the marina as submitted.
I second the motion.
Carla?
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Member Warshes?
Yes.
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes. Okay, our contracts, register of rental contracts for July.
I make a motion to approve the register of contracts.
Second the motion?
Stacy?
Member Warshes?
Yes.
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes. All right, in our new business, Marina Fish Cleaning Station.
Hello, I'm Tracy Marshall. I'm the General Superintendent of Public Works, and I'm also the pretreatment coordinator for the utilities. So the Marina Fish Cleaning Station has been shut down right now since the June 11th storm. They had lost electricity, and it was sending a very bad smell, like the fish and gas smell, to the five-star hydraulic company right down the road from it. So when the utilities went, Bob Dixon went out there, he's our director, he went and looked at it. It was determined that it was coming from the manhole right by it, which there is, once we got a hold of Abermarsh, who are the contractors, they let us know that there was a grease trap that was set up there. So that was before I was pretreatment coordinator, because I only been with the city for 7 years now, 8 years. And so it was like 2012 when they started working on this, I believe. And there was the pretreatment coordinator and the superintendent, Don Sonikowski of the utilities, wanted a grease trap, which makes sense. As a pretreatment coordinator, you need a grease trap there because the fish can be really oily and greasy, and we want to keep the scales and the bones and that kind of stuff out of the sanitary, because our sanitary plant is not a combined sewer. It's, storm and sanitary are separated. So we don't have a very large facility, and we don't want that into our facility. So that was news to the marina when they heard about this being there. So we need to clean out the grease trap to be able to then be able to open it up again as the amenity it is for the marina. So I do have, and I've called several places, environmental disposal places, and the only one I've had a return call from is ReWorld, which used to be Covanta Environmental Solutions. They have a solidification pit, so they are able to dispose of it on site and then take it to landfill. So they did a profile, and they gave me a proposal for a cost for them to come and back it out. A grease trap, if you don't know, it's about 1,000 gallons. It's not very large. I went out there and tested it. It's about 500 gallons full that it needs to be, of solids that need to be taken out. That's why the smell's coming. It's over usually 20% is when we require someone to clean out their grease trap. So that's why, and with the electric out and all that, it just caused a large smell coming from there that was making the employees sick at this other place. He had to send people home. So I'm gonna, if I can. So the proposal set in front of you that they gave me, it's 68 cents a gallon. And if it is 500 gallons, like I'm estimating, it'll be about $340. It may be less, I know it's not more. And then for them to vac it out for an hour, it's $225 an hour, which shouldn't take them more than probably 15 minutes. I mean, we're not asking them to go down and scrub it out, so it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes, maybe 30 at the most. Then they, of course, charge an environmental security fee of $127.69 and an estimated fuel surcharge of $56. So their grand total that they're giving us as a proposal is $748.94. So normally, these are sucked out about every 6 months, depending on if they're really bad. There's a few that are hamburger joints that have a whole bunch of grease and stuff that I require to clean out every 3 months because there's just so much grease that builds up in there. I don't foresee this more than every 6 months. It might even be less than that because it's shut down for a part of the year. So it might be a yearly thing to be able to clean this out. We are also looking in the future of what we can do with this. Someone had brought up maybe, why can't the fish go right back into Lake Michigan? The only thing that was told to me by someone who works with IDEM is that if you have that open and it's open to the public and you don't have security there at all times, somebody can come in there and put something in that fish cleaning station that could really hurt the environment if it's going straight to Lake Michigan. So IDEM may not approve that. It's something that we need to get this opened and cleaned out so it's not causing problems to that business also. But we can also look at, can we eventually bring this, maybe suck it out and bring it to the plant and set it up on the pad to dry and then throw it into the dumpster to go to landfill ourselves. So it's stuff after we get the initial cleaning, we can continue to look at, so we maybe not have this expense in the future.
I know the smell very well because a company I work with, we do ours monthly.
Yeah, yes.
And it's terrible.
Yeah, and then when it's fish, it's even worse.
Absolutely, absolutely. So after we've heard this, is there any discussion? Or can I have a motion?
Put on a calendar so we don't have this problem again.
Absolutely.
With the smell and stuff like that, for our constituents and.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and like I said, this was something that we didn't really, the marina was unaware of it, so they would have looked at getting it cleaned sooner also. But also, we're gonna look at what we can do in the future to maybe keep the cost down so we don't have to eat this cost in doing this. If we can do something in-house, then by all means, I will do that also.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal for the Reworld Environmental Services to clean out the grease trap in our marina.
Second.
Stacy?
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Member Warshus?
Yes.
Member Ecdahl?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I've got one item, if I may. So, first of all, sorry for the oversight. I did mean to reach out to Stacy to get this item on the new business agenda, but it's a fairly minor point, but something I wanted to bring up. Several city leadership, in conjunction with a member or two of the Park Board, volunteering to look into this. There's been some preliminary market research into a potential arrangement to possibly enter into or explore the possibility of a long-term lease and operation arrangement with the marina. So if you recall, the Port Authority was dissolved earlier this year, and the marina and property is now under, the authority of, Parks and Recreation and the Park Board. So based upon some of the preliminary things we've been looking at, I'm not going to say but it appears that it's time to formally put out a request for proposals and have different potential operators submit their proposals to come in and operate the marina. And under Indiana state law, 36-10-3-11B, if you're keeping score at home, that does require a public bidding process for any park-owned facility. So I wanted to bring that topic up, and it looks like the mayor is approaching to talk about this too.
I just thought I might be able to speak. You're required, Dan, to be relatively neutral as our attorney, which I appreciate greatly.
Thank
how
you.
seriously you take this. This is one of the options that we were working on exploring back when we had a Port Authority board. Of course, it's a little bit awkward because the Port Authority board was already kind of the owner, operator, what have you. Understanding that for us right now, this is really something of a due diligence piece when it comes to the marina. Something that I know Gina and I discussed even in preparation for this is the fact that whenever you're taking a publicly owned facility and considering the idea of leasing it to a private entity to run, you have to ask, does the benefit of that outweigh any challenges that come with it? In the context of our marina, we know that our marina has about $2.5 million of repairs necessary to make it a functional marina in the course of the next 30 years. Like so many things, I'm not trying to beat up on Indiana here, but our marina was made with special funding from the state of Indiana to build a marina, but the state of Indiana did not think about if you need special funding to build a marina, maybe you might need special funding to maintain a marina. When you're a privately owned facility, you can make your prices whatever you want them to be able that you're able to take care of it. When you're a publicly owned facility, whether it's a publicly owned utility operation or a street service, garbage, you sometimes often want to go lower than maybe what a private entity would offer because that's something that you're providing, for the public. I think the challenge with the marina is it's probably the most, of the things we do, garbage is private in some places, it's public in others like in Portage. Sewer is private in some places, it's public in other places like Portage. A marina is something that is most like a business and has the most business-like challenges. The challenge we have right now is at least $2.5 million in repairs that we need to find, and the challenge with fixing a marina is that you need to budget at least $1 million more, because once you start the work on a project like that, you might discover other problems you have to be prepared to address. One of the things about dissolving the Port Authority and bringing it to the park is the idea that the park has more financial flexibility in terms of what you can use money for than a Port Authority without a casino, and which will never have a casino. We missed the boat on that years ago, whether you like gambling or not. We probably wouldn't be having this debate, though, if that had happened. But that said, whether or not the best direction is for the park to make a financial plan to take care of the marina in the future and get it caught up, or whether or not there's a way for a private company to lease, not purchase the marina. We don't want to sell the entire marina. We would want it to be a lease. The purpose from our end, as we were talking about it, would be to find a private company that would come in with enough capital to repair the docks and allow the marina to keep going, and then work out a price structure that allows that company to make its investment back, make money, but also allows us to still have a marina that the public can use either as they already are. I say like as they already are, but at the end of the day, it's not like we offered the docks for free. We're essentially running a marina business right now. Not the worst thing, but it's just to say that I don't feel comfortable avoiding the idea of going through this lease RFP if it's an option that allows us to get the marina repaired and allow it to stay usable in the future. I think that once we go through the RFP process, we need to consider what deals come back and if those are deals worth accepting or deals worth amending. And to Dan's point, I think it's anything that's being leased for more than a year has to go through this RFP process.
Yeah, and the RFP process will be a very public process where we, have a committee that evaluates the bids, and then, like the award occurs in public. I mean, this is going to be something that everyone's going to be, watching the different stages. So this is simply, right now, just the authorization for the board to tell me to put together an RFP so that we can start laying out all of these processes.
I can tell you that the reason that there's any companies interested right now, and where we had to basically take a step back when we had companies reaching out about either buying or leasing the marina, which we made clear, at least administratively, a lease would be all we're interested in. It was actually our Hollis Harbor pitch for the Bears that got companies in Florida and Kansas City, at least so far, taking a look at our marina. But again, when you have multiple parties interested in things like that, that's very cool. But the right thing and legal thing to do is we would have to go through an RFP process. We can't just make a deal with the one that seems like the best. Anyway, I'm happy to take any questions. I just felt like I might be able to speak a little less neutrally than our very neutral attorney.
Thank you.
I have a couple questions. You answered one of them, is how many private companies do we have, or is it just one particular company that's?
Well, to be clear, there are companies that have reached out and asked, but we don't have any companies. So what I'm asking is the direction to go ahead and put together the documents, the paperwork, the publication, and the announcements to formally say, hey, America, what companies out there are interested in looking into our marina and seeing if they'd be interested in operating it under this process?
Because there's a company, correct, with Marina Shores that does that?
Marina Shores has always been a private company.
Because I had a question as if it's the same company that does both, I mean, the increase in prices, is it going to scare everybody away?
Well, you'd
Like,
have
we've
to-
had other people come
well,
up
you
and
can't
speak
really-
to us prior.
You can't
and-
say that, though, until a company comes to you guys with their offer, and then you guys have the ability to negotiate what you want those prices to be. That's
Right.
why we don't want to sell a marina. We would want it to maybe be a lease, because then the park board can dictate the terms of that lease.
And is there a guarantee of fixing a list of things that they would have to be fixing? And how do we keep track of that? The cost of the slips, like I mentioned, but with it being a Portage marina, and can we include some about Portage residents as the cost of their slips versus Indiana residents versus out of state? 'Cause
So to
it's been
answer that
brought
question,
up
absolutely.
before.
And you guys can do that now as a park board, but in terms of what you want a company to do if you're leasing it, first you do the RFP. Companies come in with what they say is their best deal. You guys look at those deals and see if any of them look good. You also have the ability to say, this one looks good, but we want them to change this, this, and this. Or you've got the ability to say, these two both look good, but we want to know if either one would be willing to do this. At the end of the day, the reason why we're having this meeting is in order to start that process, you guys have to vote first to allow for the RFP to go out.
How long of a lease are we talking?
So simply put, we don't necessarily know because, that would be depending on what the companies want. That could also be one of the things you negotiate. The thing to be mindful of, though, is that if we're asking a company to fix the docks in the marina, there's going to be a certain amount of time for them to make their investment back
Right.
and make a profit that works for them.
So it's feasible to say 30 years?
I
20
would
years?
guess somewhere between 20 and 30 is what I would think would make sense. Now, I'm not a marina business expert, but I just couldn't see somebody spending $2.5 million potentially to fix docks and then make that back within 10 years. And that might impact your guys' decision when offers come back,
And do they provide the repair as far as staff-wise, or is it our marina staff that's going to be having to do that?
We don't know because there's no proposals yet. Once we do the RFP, companies can send their proposals in and treat that like a first draft. You might like the first draft right away. You might not like any of the drafts, and they might all be terrible, or they might all be good. I'm not trying to be coy. I'm trying to explain that's how an RFP process works. I think that on the Redevelopment Commission, we're very familiar with this. We do RFPs regularly throughout the year about things as broad as building facilities, about as broad as doing different engineering services. I don't know if the Park Board has done too many RFPs that weren't, how do I put it? I think that there have been some RFPs, but I think that the amount of interested companies was rather limited. I think that with this, we have the ability potentially to attract multiple companies that do marinas through this.
In addition to that, don't forget that this is going to end up being, since I'm going to be developing this and working and drafting it, and reviewing drafts is part of the legal deliberative process. So you will be seeing drafts as part of that deliberative process in either executive session or, deliberative emails that we look at, and that is permissible. That's permissible. So you're going to see this before it goes out, and you will have you'll have some approval authority before and by me, I mean before the Park Board releases it and, we publish it, you'll see it, and you'll be able to make adjustments.
Scary step. This is our diamond, in this part, Northwest Indiana. is our
Completely
marina.
agree.
So, to me, there would have to be complete transparency.
Yep. That's
You
why
know,
we're here right
so-
now as this first step.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
they
the-
would have to understand on their end that,
I think
we'd
the
want
biggest challenge too is the fact that if we don't come up with the $2.5 to $3.5 million, eventually, it's not immediate, it's not like one of those like it's gonna all break tomorrow, but eventually we're gonna end up with a marina that can't be used, at least can't be used for storing boats. And that's an unfortunate situation too.
Agreed.
And so-
I know.
If the event that were to come, at the very least, if somebody were to say, did you guys ever consider a lease as an option, I want to say that we did our homework there. But I can't stress, this is why I'm respecting the Park Board as a separate entity. I think this is a good idea to pursue, but I think that you guys got to be diligent about when offers come in. Are any of them good? Are there protections for users? Are there protections for the park system, simply put?
And also a protection for the staff that we have for Marina Shores. I mean, we have how many employees with Marina?
Right now, we have 8.
Okay.
And how many are those? Is that all full-time, part-time?
Actually, I'm doing full-timers, the rest of them are all part-timers.
How many of the part-timers are seasonal versus, recurring?
All of them.
And so that's the thing too. We have seasonal people who don't necessarily intend to stay working in the marina as a career. And then we have people like Barb who we absolutely want to protect. Now, to be fair, Barb is a park department employee. The marina is no longer its own institution. So we got to be mindful of the fact too that anyone who's working for the marina is actually working for the parks as well.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I think we said it.
Okay, so Barb, do you have an opinion one way or another? Would you like to step up and discuss?
I can give you an opinion.
Barb, as part of the original effort 2 years ago when we were looking at different options for the marina for the financing as well, which even, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. I have an opinion, and I think it's a great idea because the marina, as it stands, cannot sustain the repairs that are needed. And as the mayor stated, to upgrade our docks, it's approximately $2.5 million, and that price goes up every 6 months with the cost of wood, the cost of labor. So I think it's a great opportunity for the city of Portage to do this. I think it's only good things can happen because we're having a difficult time right now keeping up with, the repairs that are made. When we lost B&C dock, we lost about 20 different slips because we had to move everybody out of B&C dock to other docks throughout the marina. Well, now that most everybody's come back, we still have open slips. And a lot of the docks are become wobbly. A lot of the finger piers are becoming wobbly. A finger pier itself is between $17,000 and $20,000. That's just one finger pier. And on these docks, we have, anywhere from 20 to 30 finger piers. So that's a big expense, alongside, all the repairs that are needed at the marina. I think it's a great idea. The only thing that I would hope that we keep the name, the Sammy Mileta, that it stays there somehow. I think it should, Miletic Marina, whatever we have to do. But I 100% am on board with the mayor, and I support the decision, whatever the Park Board decides to make.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
So, based upon market research and operational discussions with city leadership, I move that this board authorize the Park Board attorney to draft and publish a request for proposals for companies or individuals to submit proposals to lease and operate the marina. The RFP needs to include terms that the marina must remain available to the public.
Is there a second? Or any further discussion?
I'll second it.
All right.
Stacy?
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Member Warsches?
Yes.
Steve, if I could just bring one more thing up.
Go right ahead.
We've had so many requests to repair the docks. People think that because it's a public marina, we can get grants for that. But because we generate revenue, we're not able to do grants. You know, just to let everybody know that grants are not available to make these repairs that are so desperately needed. Thanks.
Let the record reflect that the current harbor master stood up to explain that grants are not available due to the fact that slip fees and launch fees are charged. Thank you.
I'd have fees and charges, there's nothing there. Unfinished business. Committee reports, Plan Commission update.
Yes, the mayor.
I got it.
I passed out the new ordinance. Just understand that it is a living document. This is for the data centers. We need to tighten those ordinances so that we can close those loopholes. But read it, it's interesting, it's available to the public. They can get it online, they can stop by City Hall. The mayor wants everybody to be a part of this, so the public, I'm asking you, do your due diligence and be a part of this as well.
I have to jump up on that too. Thank you, it was a good intro. Yeah, just to put it simply, data centers have become a very hot-button topic in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, and a lot of people don't realize two things, and I got to be careful because I'm not trying to beat up on anybody, but there are two types of elected officials, politicians, whatever words you have right now. There are some who are responding, well, I guess there's three. Some are very for it. They're like, build them, this is great, there's no problems with them, go ahead. I guess that's one type. Then there are types who seem to be trying to appeal to a base who believes that they can be banned, and that's just not true. You can't ban anything in Indiana as a municipality forever if it's legal in the state of Indiana. For example, and it's a strange example, but it's true, there's only one building in the City of Portage that has zoning that allows it to be a strip club, and that's this one. If we ever were to sell City Hall, we would have to change the zoning before we sell it. That goes back to the 90s when what they did was, oh no, it's under, and I used the example, it's a very true example. In the 90s, there was something of a panic in Portage because such facilities were getting built nearby, and people wanted to know that that could be not done in the City of Portage. You can't ban it. So what you do is you take it as a use, and you put it in a zoning code, and then you have to trust the City Council isn't going to extend that zoning code in such a way that it can actually happen on any property. I find it hilarious when I started looking up the zoning codes and realized that City Hall was the spot. And I've also got to meet the family of the person who helped make that happen recently at the Nativity Fest, because ironically, I won't say her name if she's, but there was someone who came up to me at the Nativity Fest beer garden who said, Mayor, I love what you're doing with the data centers. It's just like what my mom did when she worked for the City of Portage to make sure that that got contained and we were able to stop that from happening. Now, I'm not the type to tell you that this ordinance will always stop it because I'm not always against data centers. That said, they need to be built in an appropriate location, and it needs to be something that I believe it's such a big deal. It would need to come to a city council vote, and it needs to go through a very public, process. Our current ordinance doesn't have that. So right now in our city code, a data center is just a warehouse. We actually have precedent in the City of Portage from the Ameriplex Data Center that any zoning code that allows for warehouses, you can build a data center on it. Now, that doesn't mean that every property, there's probably at least 20 properties with a zoning code that works for it, is necessarily conducive to build one, but we do run into trouble, I think, if somebody were to buy a piece of property, follow the rules of that, and especially if they were to go to the BZA and use that judicial process to get variances, it essentially becomes out of the public's hands and it becomes out of the city council's hands. Those 4 zoning codes are heavy industrial, light industrial, business park, and marina waterway. Marina waterway requires a BZA special exception, but like I say, a company with enough money, there's a process where you can win in that process. So what we've done is, as a city, we've proposed through the planning department, it was reviewed by the Plan Commission, a new zoning classification. So just like you have residential single family, just like you have residential multifamily, you've got business park, you have zoning for commercial of different grades. What we've proposed is the creation of a new zoning classification called Tech Campus. And what it does is it defines what a data center is. It's not just a warehouse. But what it does is it creates it as a use, and it's included as one of the uses in that tech campus zoning. Other uses are things also related to the tech industry, including a research lab, things like a semiconductor, which might not be very realistic, but at the same time it could, in theory, happen. Actually, when I was 17 years old, and this is something I'm still proud to tell this story, because at 17, I never thought I'd be mayor of Portage. But at 17, a friend of mine won a silent auction, and the prize of the silent auction was you got to have lunch with the mayor of Portage, and that was Mayor Olga Velasquez at the time. They gave it to me, my best friend Nathan Samano and I, we had lunch with Mayor Olga, and part of the conversation was her talking about how if they ever were to build a semiconductor, like a computer chip factory in Northwest Indiana, Portage was actually the perfect spot. I think at the time she might have been talking about the Ameriplex and kind of the area that ironically now has a data center in it. But I say it because I made sure to include that in. And in the event that we ever get a semiconductor, I'll be sure to give Olga quite a bit of credit for thinking about that all the way back in 2008. But to make a longer story shorter, if I can, it's possible that this zoning classification, if created, might never actually be applied to a property. I can't promise that, but what I can promise is this. If any company were to come to Portage with a proposal for a data center, what this would mean is that they would have to go through the Plan Commission, and then they would have to go to the City Council. And I'll pause here to be really careful. I've watched a lot of meetings a lot of other municipalities have had, both around the country and locally, Chesterton, Valparaiso, Hobart, Jasper County. And what I find is that a data center is often a custom-made project. And that means that there are often times where they're coming asking for approval for a use, and residents will ask what are very legitimate questions like, how tall is it? How wide is it going to be? What are the setbacks going to be? And unfortunately, the answer is often truthfully, we don't know, because we haven't started designing the project yet. We just know this is a site we want. That runs into trouble when it's not already defined by your code. It doesn't have any rules. What's great about this zoning classification, whether it ever gets used or whether it ever makes it to a city council meeting to apply to a piece of land, is that if there's ever a proposal, you can read these rules ahead of time and know what the setbacks are, know how tall it could be, know what the rules it has to follow with sound and all of that. And then that way you have the ability to come to the city council and either say, hey, I've looked at the property that they're looking at, I've looked at the rules that they have to follow, and I think they work. Or you have the ability to say, they clearly don't work, I don't think this works here. But you are not wondering what it's going to be because you know what the maximums are. Now, that said, it also defines what a hyperscale data center is. I might be wrong, but I think that our proposed ordinance is the first ordinance in Indiana that defines a hyperscale, which I think is very important because even in the data center debate, some people are more comfortable with non-hyperscale versus hyperscale. I've talked to multiple people who've been involved in building them. You'll never find two engineers who agree perfectly what a hyperscale is. Our definition by code in this proposal is a hyperscale uses 50 megawatts of power in a year, or it is something that is 500,000 square feet or more in total floor space, which is actually not that big compared to certain projects in the area, data centers or otherwise. What a hyperscale does, if the proposal meets the definition of a hyperscale, they would have to first get this zoning code, and then they would have to have a plan development built. Now, a plan development is a custom-made zoning, but this is a custom zoning restricted to land that first goes through this proposal. What this does, in short, if passed, is it basically takes a lot of the people who maybe are more, let's call them less legitimate, and kind of makes them, I think, avoid Portage. Because if you can't follow these rules to begin with, you're not going to try. And for companies that are able to commit to following the rules, it allows them to go through a very transparent process, both first time around if they're talking a non-hyperscale, or a 2 times around if they're talking about a hyperscale. But again, you can't ban anything. Now, I know that there are communities in our area doing moratoriums. There are 3 issues I have with a moratorium on almost anything. One is when you say you're doing a moratorium, you are officially committing to one day being okay with it. You know, people try to use it to say, oh, look, we've banned it, we've done something. A moratorium is a temporary ban where you're committing to make rules. I think that, too, it would be a little bit hypocritical of Portage as a city that has a data center to do that when, quite frankly, we have one that works, so we know what we can do to improve upon that, but also learn from it. So to put it there. And thing number 3, I think that there is something that's very needed in Northwest Indiana right now, is the fact that we're not the only place that currently just considers them warehouses. The city of Gary realized that recently. I've had conversations with one of their city council members about it. I've actually been asked now by multiple cities, including another county in Indiana, for copies of our proposal because they want to copy it. We might even have a municipality, I won't say which one, that might pass our ordinance before we do, just based on when their next meeting is. I'll be in St. John on my birthday, August 12th, to present this to them because they also want to take a look at it. I think it goes a very long way if, quite frankly, every community in Northwest Indiana starts making rules that allow you to restrict a bad one or just one that isn't wanted if that's not the desire of a community, but it also sets up really clear expectations of what a good one would be. Happy to take any questions, and sorry, I agree with, though, that it impacts every city department and every part of our city.
Thank you for explaining.
Thank you, guys.
I mean, you talked for 2 hours at the plan meeting, so, you know.
Oh,
we
believe
got
me,
it.
that felt like a Senate hearing. If I ever have to go to like a Senate hearing, I think that was probably that Plan Commission meeting. It was probably the same feel. But you
Yeah.
guys were a lot nicer to me than maybe some of those senators are in those Senate hearings I've watched.
So now we move on to any other matters in public comment. Dominique Petrovic, Founder Square fee request waiver.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Dominique Petrovic. I am coming up on 5 years as a Portage resident, and I come to you asking, this is a little bit nervous, sorry. Never had to do something like this. So I have the flyer here. You guys should have received the event or proposal, the outline,
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
have
did.
everything here.
the fee waiver, and then the ending of the safety and the responsibility. So I was asking for a date of September, August the 22nd. I have an updated flyer if you like just to look at it real quick. I don't know if I could approach the bench or
Sure you can.
a little nervous, sorry.
With your request to approach the bench, I'd like to extend you an offer to come to work as my paralegal, since you know those type of terms.
I'm just so nervous. I've never done this. Sure, I was looking for a job. I do a lot of community, actually work already here in Portage, as also being a resident, so I'm out there feeding. We did some of the hotels and the mobile units, and I'm already out there. But this came to my heart and my head one day, that since I've been here for 5 years, I really didn't know outside of Portage, and there's so many people, new people, constantly coming in, and I only know my hood. or my neighborhood, sorry, know where I live at, and we come together. And it wasn't until the storm and the tornadoes that really affected that too, like where everybody came together. And I just threw it out there as something like, hey, I'm sure I'm not the only one that could feel like this. As a resident here, we know Mayor Austin and what the community does, but I don't know too much about the people, my neighbors, business, who's new, who's out, maybe the religion, or if they have kids, or they want to swap something, or if they need help babysitting, or anything like that. So this came to it, just throwing it out as a community unity picnic. And if it goes correctly, I would like to propose that maybe we could have it once a year. And the location is Founder Squares Park, and because it's downtown Portage. The splash pad is already going. The kids could be there at the park, and it'd be more publicity, or more, bringing more to Founder Square. People that may be interested, never want to go, never found a reason, and maybe this could be the reason. Maybe somebody just wants to come hang and just wants to meet new people, or the old people, and seeing how somebody else is coming or not. I know the effects of the hazardness of like the traffic, the trash, the food safety. So I did call Porter Health Department. He's gonna email me the permits, what is capable of to get a permit. It's just hamburger, hot dog, something simple. And he's gonna let me know if I need a server certificate. But I just thought if they could just bring like a drink or a side, and then maybe volunteer like in half an hour to help clean up. And some volunteers to help with the crowd, and just set up and moving it, and I don't know, Mayor Austin? Come.
When she first approached me about this, I had said, I don't really know if you need approval. I mean, people are able to gather at a park and kind of do things, but with Founder Square, I think the challenge is just the fact that it could be booked by the park. And so if you have an event booked there when they're planning to come, that can create some toughness of doing this wonderful event. There's no profit being made, or there's no revenue being generated either for a nonprofit or through a company, which is why I think it's appropriate in this case to, waive a fee. We felt, Leanne, Tracy, and myself, especially in the absence of a superintendent, this was better suited as a park board decision. But I think that it really matches a community event that, it's kind of the age-old, maybe not debate, but the question of what's just people gathering in the park and doing something special together, versus what's an event that needs to be approved. We thought we could clear that up here just to make sure that she and her group knew that they were okay to do kind of what you guys have done in other places, just having events where you share food for free and, bring people together.
So it's like a block party?
Yes,
Kind of that
it's,
kind of
but
thing.
it's a city togetherness.
Okay, so we would not be responsible for anything, because you're bringing your chairs, you're
Yes,
asking
ma'am.
for chairs. People are bringing food, like a big potluck picnic.
Yes.
And then you would be responsible, like always, like everybody that has any kind of picnic there, picking up after yourselves. So what were you,
The fee is
So
$1,000.
basically, so the concern is that, say sometime tomorrow, next week, if somebody were to come and say, hey, I want to pay to lease Founder Square Park on this date that happens when they're going, technically that would have priority over this event. So what they're asking is to book this as if it was a booked event, but with the fee waived. That way, if somebody were to call the park and wanted that August 22nd date, they would say it's already listed for an event.
Stacy, what's the fee for Founder Square?
$925 plus tax. But if they were doing it through their church, there would be no tax.
Well, and to be clear, this isn't a church, because there actually is a church that's doing an event at Founders Square, and they did pay the full price, but that's also an organization that can raise money that, not to say that that's making a profit, but it goes towards future operations, and that event is also utilizing the park beyond just a piece of land. It's going to be a wonderful event, you know. This is closer to, well, not just closer, it is a block party. There's no nonprofit organization or for-profit organization benefiting from it, other than just people bringing their own donations of food to give it to each other, have a party.
There's no band, you're not gonna have a
No,
band or anything
no
like
music,
that.
nothing. I mean, if somebody brings a small little dinghy or something and they want to listen to whatever their culture music or something, no cussing, no. But, you know, nothing that's going to bring hostile or political or nothing but unity and just one of us getting us closer as
If
a
I
city.
could maybe compare it to something, sometimes we'll have people, recently we had something in Cedar Creek where I think 5 neighbors on a cul-de-sac, they were having a block party, and they were looking to get city approval just to have the road closed. Not that they even needed a sign or a barrier, they just wanted, in a situation, if somebody were to come and say, hey, stop, you know, being on the street, they had city permission to be on the street in the cul-de-sac during that block party. No money was made. It wasn't like a nonprofit existed for the neighborhood or even an HOA. It was really just the city acknowledging, yes, you're good to be on the street if anybody were to complain. This is a very similar request. It's just Founders Square. I think where we want to be careful, maybe with other people that might try to come, is any money being raised, or is any particular organization being supported, or are they using other, and, yeah.
I just come as a Portage resident and living here almost 5 years.
Just hang out with your neighbors type of thing.
I have
Yes.
a couple concerns. Garbage, you would need garbage cans emptied, and that's a park department, you know, entity, having somebody there.
That is true, although if somebody were to come to the park with a cooler full of, like, you know, bottled water and pop right now, and like a bunch of bags of chips, you know, and a group of people hung out by the splash pad, they'd probably also throw things away in the garbage cans, and, you know, we couldn't really go after them for an event. But I understand what you're saying, too.
Yeah, and then if you see my last proposal with the event planning, safety, and responsibilities, I believe that was one of the trash in the park, where I would make it responsibility, since, you know, I did come to you guys and make sure that all trash is picked up, even if I have to stay there till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, picking up cigarette butts if they do smoke or whatever, to make sure that the park is left way we found it. I'm willing to do that, and if we get some people to volunteer to help, but I'm willing to do whatever that it takes to make this successful.
I have a crazy question. I always look at it from a different view. You might be able to answer this. What if everybody was bringing in their own food, a dish or so forth? Somebody ends up having a reaction to something in that. Can they cause?
Yeah, I don't think so, because basically if you're at a community picnic and you're like sampling all of the foods and all of that, like that's, you're doing that at your own risk. So there's no waiver really to come up with. Yeah, so I mean, this is a come if you want to. No one is forcing you to be there. You, like many things, you know, you kind of eat at your own risk.
What does August look like? Do we have anything booked? Is it busy, or what do we got?
We have Ready to Live on August 7th. We have the event that the mayor was referring to on August 15th. We have market down there on Fridays, but the 22nd is open and available.
And the health department's gonna get back to me tomorrow if I need a permit and if we can have people come or if it has to be store-bought. So I want to make sure, because when I first did this and popped it up, it blew off. There was like 500 people. They're like, yeah, let's do it. And then found out that it was a motorcycle ministry that's doing great things in our community also that booked it, and then you got to get in line and then come this, and I didn't know that. And for me, being out there in the community as it is and helping the community, because helping people give hot food, canned goods, hygiene items and clothes all the time, and I just pop out at a park and just grill out but I didn't know.
To put it simply, if she wanted to roll the dice and just hope that nobody was going to book the 22nd,
Yep.
she could do all of this without any permission of anybody. Yeah, I think that that's where I understand the nervousness, though,
Yeah.
because we do get, to your point, pretty booked sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want anybody to think that we are sponsoring this. You know, so I'm looking at your flyer, and I want to make sure it doesn't say Portage Parks or, you know, anything like
Not
that. Just, it's
sponsored.
your own thing, it's your own gig.
And that's where I come into, because as a resident mayor who likes to support everything, whether it's a coffee shop, a gas station, or, you know, anything, I'll probably be there. I'm going to be really excited. I'm going to help her, you know, just as a volunteer, help with it. But I think from the perspective of the park, this is kind of a test run. I mean, if it goes very well, this might become something more official the following year. And the following year, maybe it might need to pay something, or maybe there might need to be an organization or the right group of people coming together. But I do think this is a really good first step, but I think you guys are asking all the right questions, and you're given
I love your passion, I really do. And I mean, something, even reach out to the different restaurants in our community or grocery stores if they want to donate, you know, food for it, or
Can
a
you
band
look
that
at
wants to
this?
volunteer.
So we're really not waiving a fee because you just want to go in and have a cookout.
Yes, but my understanding and coming along to city ordinance and structure, the way that the city of Portage does it, that's what I was told, that there was a fee to book it for that date.
But you're not booking it.
No.
But, right. Don't let people think that you're booking the park, because you're
Okay.
not.
Yeah,
okay?
because
Sorry, I'm
we,
taking notes.
we as a board, and correct me if I'm wrong, we, in the past, have not waived 100% of the fee. You know, it's been, go and you pay 30% or something like that, but we don't want this to be, oh, you let them do it and you waived a fee, why can't we do it? So that's our concern right there. We do have a new park superintendent taking over very shortly, but
How would I correct that? Because I want to make sure that it's fair. I mean, my wording, I could put a
Yeah,
different
our
wording.
attorney's going to look at it.
Okay.
And he's going to make sure that.
I'll look at the flyer, I'll send you some comments. We'll be good.
Okay.
That's my biggest fear. Oh, that it's a park-sponsored thing, and it's not, yeah.
okay, thank you very much. We'll turn it over to our attorney, and he will get back to you on that. As far as we know, that date is open, but again, if we have somebody comes in and wants that date, then they will get precedent over that.
So then that would be pushed aside, or like,
You can still come, but, you can have your cookout there.
okay.
Where that event is,
But-
that somebody were to book, it's just going to bring more people for your picnic.
Oh, okay. So if somebody does it, then I could just get with whomever that has booked it, and then maybe just be like, hey, we're going to be over here.
Absolutely, Founders Square
okay.
is big.
Right. Well, I only say that because the person that I had it the first time when I did this, they said it was gonna be fenced off, there's no one coming in and out, so I'm like, oh, that got me thinking, well, does this happen all the time? I'm just getting used to all of this, so I just wanna make sure I'm doing everything correctly.
Unless
and-
it's Austin's bands that want to come and play, but,
Yeah, those are the people that rent the park, and then,
Okay.
they have to have the security and stuff like that, but you're not doing that. Are you gonna take the area around the water tower? Is that what you're thinking? Right in that area?
Well, closer to like, where the playground and where the grills are accessible. I had somebody donate 3 grills. We're gonna see if he still wants to do that. It's not gonna be fresh meat, though. It's gonna be, pre-cooked hamburger hot. Okay, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sounds, okay.
Keep that passion you have.
Thank you. There's a lot of more ideas and things I would like to bring to Portage and help, maybe one day have my own ministry or outreach. But whatever to help out the mayor and City of Portage.
I'll make the motion that we, motion do I make? Because she's not really renting. Thank you for coming.
We're not blocking anything. But yeah, I mean, as of now, the park is yours on that date. But again, the attorney will reach out if you have any questions, concerns. He'll go through us and we'll go from there. But as of right now, absolutely.
Is that right?
Do you have a time on here?
Not yet, but from my understanding, we could just have it at 10, roll out about 10, and just have it all day there, because, you know, people coming and going, you know, a lot days, people work, people don't work, and I'll be there personally, you know, till the last person leaves, and, you know, sun up, sun down, answer any questions. I think this would be a great opportunity, too, to give out more resources and let them know what we have available here. Oh, all right.
Dan, are you okay with this? That you go over that and then just send her an email?
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to put more on your plate.
no, it's just, all right, so I will review this, make sure that there's no implication that the city is sponsoring it, so we can handle that. What it appears to me we've agreed to is that the board is not comfortable waiving fees, so there's not an official booking, which means that there's no fee to waive. So in the event that a large organization comes in for August 22nd, you know, they may end up booking all of Founders Square and paying the full fee, at which point we're going to have to communicate that to you, and there may be some adjustments to your event. But as of right now, I think the park board is basically saying, good luck with your event, we support you, and go forth, but there can't be a motion to waive fees because it's been the tradition that there is not fee waivers, but percentages off. I think that's where we're at.
And because it's already the 22nd of August, I don't think you have to worry about anybody trying to slip in a major thing without, because that takes months, so.
Good
Okay.
luck.
Well, you guys are all invited, so
Thank
come
you.
on out, bring your friends, family, cousins, you know, godmothers, fathers, whatever, whomever. Well, I thank you for this time and
Thank you for showing up. We appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then we have Annette Handon, open air pavilion issue.
I'm Annette Hansen, actually, Hansen. I rented the open air pavilion for our Gnomes Day Out Ferry Festival, and it came right behind the Twister of 26. So we had no electricity at the pavilion. I couldn't cancel or make a change. I'd like to make a couple of suggestions. If a generator could be stashed in the back by the tables or something, so if it ever happened again to a wedding party or who knows, whatever kind of a cool party the people were trying to have, or event, that they could proceed without having to run and buy a generator or go rent one, or, and the problem with the bathroom was that there's no lights. I had little tiny kids with no lights in the bathroom. It was completely dark, so I had to get $80 worth of lanterns to light up the bathroom. The other thing, this is another suggestion, is that we might train the park helpers. You know, there's a really nice guy who came to help me with the tables and the whole thing, and he was a super sweet guy, but he couldn't get the alarm to turn off. You know, there's an alarm that goes off because when the electricity goes off, it reminds you, hey, the alarm is off, or something with the fire department. He tried his best, he made some calls, but he wasn't trained how to do that. It was going off for quite a while, the first 2 hours I was setting up. One of my volunteers said, "Oh, I think I can handle this," and he made a couple of phone calls, and somehow he got it turned off. I don't know how, or reset, or whatever it was. He found a key in the building. So if we could maybe get a generator and have that available, so that wouldn't happen to someone else again, and train somebody who's coming to help prep the place for the day to know how to turn that alarm off. And then, I'm going to ask, we love the facility. We want to use it again. We're at our 10th, we just did our 10th annual event. We had been at Hawthorne Park. They always waive fees at Hawthorne for us. What we had, porta potties, which aren't really great for little sweethearts with their wings and their fairy costumes, you know. But we were so happy to have a bathroom and to have a little bit more control with the weather, having a roof over our heads. So I'm going to go ahead and try to book again for June next year. And I would ask that you might consider repaying us for the generator and the lantern fees that I had to put out, which is $280. Maybe it could apply to next year. If you don't feel comfortable just reimbursing it right back to me, maybe it could apply to the fee next year. Because I had to do some fancy footwork to fix that little problem.
Did you reach out to anybody in the park department at that time? Just the guy that was working?
I was just talking to the young guy. Please understand that I'm the one person that organizes this whole thing, and I was a chicken with my head cut off trying to figure out the problem, and he was saying, "I don't know what to do," so.
Board, if you would. Can I speak on this? So, no, so I do agree, at the time, we hadn't been participating, helping, as far as the Public Works assisting with the park. There is a plan in the future for us to have generators. We have them at the utilities. They're serviced by our guys. They're up and running, ready to run. We could have grabbed one of those, so we were unaware that it was needed this time. Going to the future, we will have that available because we do have the generators. As far as the alarm, my understanding is the fire department didn't even know how to shut it off. So I don't know. We will have to investigate that and see what the alarm is and what we do with that. As far as training for the individuals, that would be something in the future. I don't believe any of us would have been able to shut it off. I mean, she probably got really lucky on them figuring out how to bypass it, which isn't a good thing either. So, but in the future, there will be plans, and I'll work with the superintendent, the park superintendent, to see what Public Works can do to assist in situations like this.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank
Yeah,
you, we
and-
appreciate that.
They should have a call sheet and people that they can,
Something,
can get a hold of.
because, you know, that noise,
Yeah.
for the first 2 hours was hard. I'm not a sissy, but that was hard. I understand, because I was asking by email, like, "Hey, guys, I have these ideas, what do you think?" Oh,
And our board president is out of town, so by email, "Hey, Steve, you have to run this thing tonight," so.
I do agree with you on taking it off.
The three of us are here, we agree, I think, to it. I agree, the three of us are here, we all agree that we should take it off of her next event booking. She spent the time to come here and speak to us about it. I say we resolve it now, as long as we are all in agreement.
thank you.
I agree. Stacy?
So so there is a motion to apply a $280 fee discount to her future rental.
Absolutely.
Okay, is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you, Dan.
Member Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Member Warsches?
Yes.
Member Ekdahl?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We lived.
Okay, before we adjourn, is there any public comment?
I have a quick comment. I think I can talk loud enough, can I? He's not listening to me. So real quick, I just wanted to let you know that the baseball fields, the concession stand, they've got the 3-bay sink in, and they also have the mop station. That was required by the health department, so we can start serving a little bit better selection of food there, so.
Great.
That will start, I think, baseball's in August, so yeah, I think ball for August. Will start.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, it wasn't my job, that was Terry and Danny that worked real hard on it, with some help from Tracy too, helping us get the right sink in that, so it's a big plus. We're working on changing a few things in the concession stand, so adding a few extra items. Just this past week, we've added things that have really been an improvement. So.
Very good. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Back in the day, I used to volunteer there every night when my kids played baseball.
Did you say you were going to volunteer?
I'm always available if I'm not working. Is there any other public comment?
I have a question.
Come on up front.
My name is Jessica Zabo. I just had a question about how Portage is involved with the BMX track and who takes care of that land and who has say over that land. So I didn't know, Parks Department is in control of that, or?
Say something.
Yeah, sure.
You can stand there, you can sit down, whatever's
Oh,
good. We know you. So, could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, sure. I was just asking how the City of Portage and the parks are in conjunction with the BMX track that we have in town, and who owns the land, and how is the City of Portage involved with the BMX track?
So it is owned by the Park Department, and I say department, but the parks are kind of their own entity.
Okay.
So it's owned by the parks, and there's a long-standing agreement between the association, and I apologize, I don't know the exact name of it, but the association that runs the BMX, they've had a long-standing agreement with the park to use it. I don't know the whole financial history, but my understanding is that money was raised to, get that built, and the association pretty much runs it. Not quite like what we're considering doing with the marina. It's not a for-profit company, but it essentially runs itself. Where we get involved, thinking of it like a tenant-landlord, type agreement, if there's like maintenance that needs to be done or serious work to it, the park would get involved. So for example, and I think Tracy was a little involved in this, as was Leanne, we know that there are issues with lights there, and so we're working on getting it together for us to repair lights, for example, there.
That'd be excellent. Any interest in helping with expanding bathrooms? Because I know that there's large events that happen.
So that's a really good question of, that to me, I would think is more under the park responsibility than the BMX association. So
Right.
I think absolutely. I think the best thing would be to talk to maybe me and Leanne here at this meeting or maybe after about that particular concern, unless there's something legal or if someone knows a little bit more of the history than that.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would turn down us improving the bathrooms,
Right. Yeah. There is some safety concerns with what did happen, unfortunately, earlier this year. And, but I just needed to know who do they answer to? And is it Portage Parks, or that owns the property, or is it the entity that rents it?
Yeah. What I would say, not knowing all details of things, meet with us and go over, and then that way, if there's anything that we do need to run by them, we can, it'd be good for us to be there with you,
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, our next meeting will be August 18th. Like a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second?
Member Rosenbaum.
Yes.
Member Borchers.
Yes.
Member Ekdahl.
Yes.